Kids, I wanted to talk to you today about sexual assault allegations and from my perspective, um, what they are, what they mean, why they happen. Um, Full disclosure, I'm a victim of multiple rapes. So I kind of have an inside scoop of what it's like to be a victim. Um, they happened a long time ago. I didn't talk about them right away. Uh, the first one that happened, I didn't talk about for 11 years, nearly 11 years. I think it was like somewhere between 9 and 11 years. It takes time to process, particularly for men. Men have a really hard time with sexual assault because it goes against everything that we are socialized to believe. And men are much more often victims of sexual assault than they'll ever admit to. Men will talk themselves out of situations they've gotten themselves into where they were the victim of sexual assault and they will actually try to convince themselves that they were willing participants or this was just some sort of aberration, some kind of one off, but certainly not ever pick up the role of I was a victim. And I don't mean a victim like laying on the railroad tracks kind of victim, the old fashioned way. I'm meaning just purely someone did something that was wrong against my will. Um, I bring this up because there's this lady, I guess Professor Ford or something, that brought some allegations against Brett Kavanaugh, this Supreme Court dude that Donald Trump wants uh, him to bail. Donald Trump wants this Brett Kavanaugh guy to bail him out and give him a get out of jail free card. So he's trying to ram this Supreme Court nominee through the Senate as quickly as possible. And of course, the GOP is more than willing to bend over and accommodate for Donald Trump. They bend over and accommodate for Donald Trump like 12-cent hookers at a convention. It's disgusting. They don't do their jobs. The Congress of the United States, the Republican House of Representatives, and the Republican Senate. I'm talking to you. I just told you what you do. That's a fact. We're not talking about words that kind of are facts. No, we're talking about a fact. You bend over for Donald Trump and you take it up the ass for him every time. All he has to do is ring his little bell and you all bend over and pull your ass cheeks apart and back up on the man. That's what you've been doing since the last election. So now that we're clear, let's talk honestly about sexual assault. The Republicans say they want to have a hearing next Monday, but they won't do an investigation. They won't order the FBI to do a real investigation on this because there are people that were there. Some of the classmates are already coming out for the victim, for the woman, Professor Ford. And some of them are coming out for Mr. Kavanaugh. And some of them don't want to talk about it at all because they're not coming out either for or against anything. They just don't want to be involved. Which sadly, when it comes to sexual assault, is the case with a lot of people. They might see it or hear about it or something, but they don't want to be involved. And it's sick. And this guy that doesn't want to be involved the most, he wrote about exactly what happened. The, quote, devil's triangle, 2 guys and a girl. Mysterious had made his book, but suddenly he doesn't want to talk about it unless he's getting paid. So I guess buy his book? Sick. Now, what prompted the video, though, the most, so here we're going to get real raw, and we're going to talk about the ladies that work over at Fox News Network. The ladies. The females. Well, actually, they're not ladies. They're just females. Actually, they're cunts. Every single one of them. Not only the ones that are on their payroll, but the guest speakers, too. Because if you can go out on television in this day and age and say, well, because it was so old that it doesn't matter or it's not valid is bullshit. Now, let's get honest with these ladies at Fox News. They're all a bunch of whores. But they're the worst kind of whores. They're not like the Stormy Daniels whores that get paid good money and fuck in front of you on camera or fuck in front of you and give you what you paid for. Not these whores over at Fox News. Let's put this in perspective. These are bitches that run around and suck Roger Ailes' dick for decades. And all these other executives, they were sucking their dicks to keep their fucking job and giving up their ass and giving up their pussy, and they're still fucking doing it. That's who these people are on TV telling you how you should feel about sexual assault. A bunch of low-down whores that aren't even brave enough to do it in public. Seriously. That's who's telling you. And if you don't like that reality, check it out. Bet it's true. You've heard hundreds of stories come out of Fox News, exactly like I just specified. Exactly. Roger Ailes lost his job because of that. The guy that works for Trump now, the executive at Fox that lost his job because he was promoting that kind of work environment, got fired from Fox News, and now works for Donald Trump. And mysteriously, this Kavanaugh guy that Donald Trump wants to be a Supreme Court justice is a little rapey dude too. So it keeps coming together. I mean, Donald Trump, what does he hang around? Criminals and rapey people. Sexual assaulters, rapers, etc. And Donald Trump's a raper. He's not just a sexual assaulter, he's a raper. And it will come out. It actually has come out, but no one wants to believe it. But believe it. This is the reality. We live in this really creepy, rapey society where people just can't get consent. They have to somehow get one over on somebody. And then we look down on prostitutes who say, okay, you want to have your fantasy and get one over on me? Pay me $500 or pay me $100 or pay me $25 or whatever you can afford. And get one over on me. That's what prostitution is, the oldest profession. It's not an easy profession, especially if you do it out in public. Especially if you're loud and proud, you say, I'm a prostitute. I charge for this. But then you have these women pretending to be journalists over at Fox News who are just whores that got there by sucking some executive's dick, that have the nerve to turn around and tell American men and women about sexual assault? You've got to be kidding. They have no business talking about it at all. Other than they're getting paid by their masters to say what their masters told them to say. That is the ultimate skanky horror. It's disgusting. America should be ashamed. And if you watch those people and you believe that kind of stuff, if you believe that women just make up sexual assault, there's probably a couple of occasions where they have, but for the most part, no one goes there. No one makes up sexual assault, particularly if they talk about it for years, and particularly years before it even comes out. You got a 99% chance they didn't make that up. And to suggest otherwise is frankly unacceptable and just simply disgusting. Shame on people for doing that.